We're waiting on Easton baseball. It's connecting. Hey,
We're in.
that was crazy. Sorry, I was trying to request, and then it just didn't work.
Yeah, I think my internet's going crazy. I think everybody in the world is just crushing all the internet data.
Well, I'm also like in my car in a parking lot, so I'm running on data, so it could be that as well. I feel like we're both not.
Not a big deal.
We're both not. Yeah, exactly. Hi, I'm Jen. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, awesome. Nice to meet you too. This is super cool.
I know. It's awesome. Sorry if you got blown up with Instagram notifications yesterday with all the little girls commenting on the picture I tagged you in. I was like, he's going to be so annoyed by these notifications.
Well, luckily enough for me, I don't really go on Instagram that much. I just like kind of have the account.
Oh, okay.
So my buddy Jake he's the one that's having to deal with all that stuff. So he can.
Okay, well, sorry, Jake. Yeah. So where are you from? Tell everybody. I know we're on our softball site. So you catch for the Padres, but where'd you grow up? Where did you go to college? You get drafted out of high school? What's been your road?
Yeah, so I grew up in Southern California in Orange County.
Where? I'm from Orange County.
San Juan Capistrano.
Okay, yeah, I'm like actually kind of by your house right now. I'm like in like Irvine Hills, but I grew up in Yorba Linda, and I live in Orange Park Acres, so close.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I went to J. Sarah Catholic High School.
Yeah. Okay.
And then got drafted out of there. I was committed and signed to play at UCLA.
What? Why didn't you come be a Bruin?
I know. I heard you're a Bruin. You're the stud catcher for the Bruins. I mean, my sophomore year would have been the year they won the College World Series.
Okay, so you're younger. You're younger than me. I got done playing in 2008, but you know who's like one of my best friends is like Garrett and Amy Cole. So like you probably played against him at OLU. Yeah.
Yeah, Garrett was my first roommate in pro ball. We both got drafted the same year.
Wait, stop!
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and so we lived together in Newport Beach. And
wait, have I met you then?
Honestly, maybe.
I like have to like Amy is one of my best friends, and we're literally now having babies a week apart from one another.
Really?
Yeah, like, and I'm like I live right by the Coles, like very good friends with the entire Cole family, like, so I had to have met you. This is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really hung out in a while. I know. So Amy and my wife Maggie are good friends too.
What? I'm surprised Amy didn't. I was literally FaceTiming with her yesterday that she didn't say like, "Hey, you're gonna go live with my wife's or my girlfriend's husband."
Yeah, you should tell her about
I will.
it. So her and Maggie get along real well, and Garrett and I go way back. So I used to actually, when I was in high school and he was at UCLA during Christmas break, he would need to throw bullpens, and I would go catch his bullpens, and he's throwing a billion miles an hour, and I'm like a sophomore in high school just trying to knock the ball down. I couldn't
exactly.
catch it. So it was actually some of the best work I could get because like I'm catching this dude that is
totally
an hour. So that's how we kind of got to know each other. Then we both have the same agent, and so
you're a Florida guy. Okay, cool. So Gavin Brooks is like Gavin and Jackie are two of my really good friends too. This is funny.
Small world.
Yeah.
Gotta love the Bruin tie. So my dad actually, the reason I fell in love with UCLA, my dad back in the 70s was at UCLA. He was a gymnast.
No way.
Yeah, so we've always been diehard Bruins fans, and so
that's such a cool program. The gymnastics legacy there. I know they don't have men gymnasts anymore, but like back in the day, it was legit, and then now it's legit again. So it's really cool to see that turn around.
Yeah, absolutely. Really every sport they got. What are they like? Are they second now to Stanford for most championships? Or is it
I think we retook it back, Austin. I think it's us again.
Really? That's what I'm talking about.
I think it better be. I had three little sisters that all played Division I softball. So the second one went to Stanford, and then the third one played at UCLA with me, and then the fourth one played in the SEC at Arkansas. So it's funny because I know, crazy, huh? We're the first family ever. I know. Wow.
Who are your parents? They must be these unbelievable athletes.
One's a German immigrant who was a water polo player, but we have some like German blood. We're all super tall. It's funny.
No way. That is awesome.
It's crazy.
So did you always catch?
No, actually, that's a weird story. I was a third baseman, recruited like corner player, hitter, and then went into travel ball, like late in travel ball. Some of our catchers got hurt. So like I caught 6 games in one day with a third baseman glove and like a batter's helmet mask, like knew nothing about catching.
That's
And
not
so
safe.
oh no, not safe at all. Like my hand was huge. So then I think it made me just kind of master my skill set more because I felt like I was faking it until I had to make it. Like imagine not really catching your whole life and then being at the World Series and you're like, holy, fill in the blank with a word that I shouldn't say. And it's just really interesting. But I think it makes, because now I train catchers like all over the country. So at my facility, we train like 300 a week, 100% ratio to college.
Where's your facility at?
In Anaheim, like
What's it
Anaheim
called?
Hills, Yorba Linda
I'd love
area.
to come visit. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So like the last 9 national championship catchers have all trained with me, and then all the Olympic catchers. So it's really cool.
Congratulations. Yeah. That is an incredible accomplishment.
Yeah. I mean, it's different.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, you should. It's really cool.
So I could just come visit.
You live in Tustin?
My parents do.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah,
I live in San Diego now, but my parents live in Tustin, so that's right down the street.
Yeah, it's super close. So when you were in spring training in what, Arizona? Is that where you guys do spring training? And then you guys found out you were just completely being shut down?
Yeah, I mean, we're literally right in the middle. We could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Season's coming. We're all excited. And just like that, it was basically, state of emergency happens. And we're just like, all right, now what do we do? And basically, since then, we've just been kind of in limbo doing our own workouts. Like, this is where I just stay here. Luckily, I got a gym in my house that I can just work out in. And otherwise, we're just basically in like half off season, half spring training mode right now.
That's crazy. And so, like, besides training, like, are you catching any guys right now? Well, I mean, at least you're in California, so a lot of guys are from here at least. I
try to. I mean, right now, guys are kind of throwing a little bit of bullpens in shape, so we just got to find a place to go do that. Because basically, I mean, one of the main goals right now is for us to, whenever they say we can play, the idea is get going. Let's play. Right. We're already, I mean, we should have started already, so we're already behind. So I know the biggest thing is probably for those pitchers to keep their arms ready and in shape so we can basically get going. Because as position players, we're like, let's go. Like,
right, you're ready. I know. I'm sending Amy a set of Gentro catching gear. I mean, if not for just the pictures only, just pretend like Garrett's throwing to her. but I really am sending her a set of gear.
I'd like to see that. Those would be some good pictures.
Exactly.
It'd be interesting to see if she can handle it. I know she's a good athlete herself.
No, we were FaceTime the other day before they played catch, so which ended up like going viral. And she's like, there's no way. Like I used to be able to like kind of hang with him. She's like, there's no way. I was like, well, at least the pictures will be good with some gear.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of good, I guess, if you're into.
I mean, he's like, probably, I don't know.
300 strikeouts.
Whatever. I mean, it's just like normal, right? 300. It's not a big number.
So I'm really curious. I'm sure you're the same way. Like, I could talk catching all day.
Yes.
So I am fascinated to hear. Would you mind just kind of telling me, like, so from watching baseball, would you mind telling me how does the art of catching, how is it similar, the same, and different in softball? Yeah, okay, so I think the biggest thing that I battle with like baseball catching coaches who come in and try and teach softball, or if I'm like at a convention and like Jerry Weinstein's preaching about catching and I'm preaching about catching, right? Like what the difference is in softball, they're releasing the ball from a strike position, right? Hip height is a strike. Right? Where in baseball, the release point is over a head or like, side slot. So it's a ball and it travels into the strike zone. So a lot of times a catcher has to sit back and receive the ball a lot more, which is funny because actually people were commenting about how good of a receiver you are on my Instagram. And so I went and like looked at some videos, and I feel like you're an excellent, excellent receiver. I was very, very, very impressed. Where like you don't like sit super far back. Like you go get the ball a little bit, get your fingers around the ball. Like you frame really well. Where in softball, the longer we wait for the pitch, the further away from the zone it is, right? So if we sit back, we're actually catching the ball out of the strike zone. So like the goals remain the same. Catch the ball as tight to the plate as you can. Get as many strikes for your pitcher as you can. But the way in which we have to do it is a lot different. And then we throw off our knees a lot more. I would say it's just very, very, very popular. It's a shorter throw.
So I would say those are the two main differences. And then I don't know, when you block, do you fall forward and like cut an angle, or do you kick back and absorb?
I try and replace,
Okay, yeah,
basically replace my feet with my knees.
yeah, we do. That's what we do too. But I know like some people in baseball will do that like fall forward thing and like break the angle of the ball. I'm not into that,
Yeah.
but I know
I don't like that either. I mean, I feel like anytime we're making impact,
the ball's going to go further away.
Far away.
Yeah, force.
But at the same time, you don't want to go backwards because, you know, then the hop might be farther in front of you. It might kick up high. So I just think, honestly, I mean, with blocking, I don't even think there's necessarily a way. I just
keep the ball in front of you.
Yeah, that's it. Keep the ball in front of you and be good at getting out of that stance and don't let them get to second. That's all it is.
Yeah. What about like pitcher-catcher relationship for you? How important is that? And especially like baseball is so different than softball. In softball, we've got our ace. We've got like maybe a number two, and like you don't have middle relievers, you don't have closers, right? So it's so different. You have to create so many more relationships. So how do you make sure that you're developing those?
Yeah, I mean that's number one. So that's pitcher-catcher relationship. I'm sure in softball it's number one because it's when it comes down to it, it's me as a human with the other human. It's not the base. It's not the pitcher and the catcher. It's Austin and Chris or whoever's pitching. Like I have to realize, like, you know, when things hit the fan and things are going crazy, like that's not the pitcher out there all alone on the mound. That's the human that, you know, is either too pumped up, he's scared, he's nervous, he's underprepared, he's overprepared, you know, he's tired, whatever it is. Figuring out, I think, the person and how to, you know, either bring them down or bring them up or keep them the same on a human level is probably the most important thing. And that, I think, just starts in the clubhouse and away from the field. So one of my biggest jobs that I try and do and, you know, stay on top of is maintaining my human relationships with not just with all my teammates, but specifically my pitchers. So like when I'm talking to them, they know that they can trust me, like as a person, not just, you know, this guy just doesn't have my back because I know like when I pitch good, he looks good. He genuinely cares about my livelihood. So I think just developing that on a human level is probably one of the biggest things I try and do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. Now, have you been with the Padres the whole time? Is that the only system you've been in? Did you get drafted by them?
I've been lucky, and I've been lucky.
Wow.
Growing up in Southern California and getting drafted by a Southern California team, and I got drafted in 2011, so I'm going into my ninth spring. This was my ninth spring training with the same team, so it's been a long time. You know, I've been through all the struggles with the organization, and we're kind of on an incline, trying to make some really big changes and about to start winning some ball games. So. I've been very blessed. I mean, like my parents get season tickets and come down and watch all the games.
So cool.
I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, my wife went to high school with me too, so her parents are in Orange County, so they can come to games and watch. Like I'm beyond blessed. It's one of the coolest things about playing here.
That is so awesome. That's not the average story for a Major League Baseball player at all. So that's very, very cool.
I feel lucky. So I'm very curious. So how have you? So obviously, especially in college, like being when you're like, you know, you're around these people. I'm sure you're living with these people. You know, your teammates, right?
Yeah.
And so like that's got to be, you know, a advantage and a disadvantage. You know, some of the because I mean,
totally.
I fights with my buddies all the time, probably pretty well, but at the same time, you know, we might scuffle a little bit or have disagreements. How is that for the relationships with not, I guess, even any of your teammates?
Well, and think about girls are just a little bit more full of drama than guys in general, right? Especially in college when you've got boyfriends or different, you know, just like the stuff that happens outside of the white lines. So I think that just focusing on when you are between those white lines, you're a team regardless. Like those are your sisters. And that's your family. But there is definitely drama, and it's tough to not let that impact the team, which I'm sure a lot of young athletes deal with. And so just really focusing, like you can be enemies outside. You do not need to be the best of friends outside of the white lines. But as soon as you step in between those white lines, your sisters, your teammates, your family, and you're all battling for the same goal, right? You want to win a national championship. That's what you want to do. And so everything you do is for that mission, is for that goal. And now it's so funny because you can look back and you can share stupid dramatic stories that you had with girls. But at the end of the day, those are your best friends because you went to war with them. And in the real world, like I live in a real world where it's not everyone's an athlete, right? And so it's funny to have the memories of competing for something so much bigger than yourself in college. Like college is the peak of softball. You play Pac-12 softball, you play at the World Series, you compete for a national championship. That's the highest of highs that you're going to get in the sport of softball. It's not the same for baseball. So now being in the real world, but knowing that you've got that in your back pocket, that you did that you were a part of that, it's probably one of the coolest things in the world.
Wow, that is. I mean, that's music to my ears because I mean, we preach the same thing. I mean, the talk about just the relationships that you develop with, you know, when you are going to war. Like it's when you step in those lines, like you said, like it's a different type of thing. You know, I mean, and but like when you're all coming together for the same goal, a Pac-12 championship, a College World Series, or a division championship, whatever it is, you're all
Right.
out there, you know, fighting for the same thing. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it's cool because we're with your brothers and sisters who have been through that grind the whole time with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're getting caught up with the Wi-Fi or whatever. Do you want to try and
The
get to some
internet, I
questions?
know. Yeah.
Do you have? I've got a couple of questions that I saved from the previous one. Or
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
getting
Shoot into me.
them right now. Are you?
I am getting questions. A lot of people are asking, like, what's your favorite part of catching?
Favorite part of catching? I guess I'll answer. I mean, my favorite part. I mean, since we already talked about working with the pitchers, that's my favorite part by far. Working with a dude and like, you know, knowing that you made a difference in someone else's career. Like, you know, the shortstop on the team can't really make a difference in the you know, and maybe necessarily the pitcher's careers nearly as much as the catcher can. So when you're out there, you know you're calling the right pitches, you know you're motivating the right way, you know you're catching the ball really well and stealing some strikes. I think that's the coolest feeling when I'm receiving the ball well and I know I called a really good game because I prepared for it. And I did the homework and I executed it, and then my pitcher executed it, and we were just on the same page the whole game. That's by far my favorite part. And then, you know, when you get to shake hands after the game, it's just, yeah, you can't relive that feeling. It's something special.
That's
What
so
about
cool.
you?
No, I could not agree more. I called my own pitches at UCLA too. So just being able to prepare and then connect with your pitcher, it's just the best feeling ever to know that you had a part in someone else's success. And it's not that you need the credit at all, but just knowing that you had the chance to impact another human being's life, I think is just, it's a feeling that you don't get every single day, you know? So we're really lucky to get to experience that.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Do
People
you,
want to know.
I got another question for you about that,
Yeah.
actually. How do I'd love to know the similarities and differences between how you guys in softball read, like when you're reading other hitters, when you're preparing for other hitters.
Oh, that's a
What are
good
some of the
question.
stuff, because, you know, I don't know all the nuances and everything, so what are some of the, from watching baseball, at least in your opinion, to what you see, how did you prepare to call pitches for a game?
Yeah, I think I'm like a crazy type A. I'm going to do so much research on a hitter and like have an entire notebook and game plan. And then obviously, first things first is knowing what my pitcher's strengths are. So being able to play into my pitcher's strength with each hitter. And then a lot of times in softball, I would say a team's going to show up with one game plan. So more than an individual swing, it's knowing what their game plan is. Are they taking the first pitch? Are they up in the plate? Are they back in the box? Are they, you know, and being able to call to that. And then I would think that one of the things that I felt like I was personally good at is developing confidence in my pitcher, where if, let's say she's struggling with her changeup, right, she just cannot throw it for a strike. It's not like I'm going to give up on a pitch. Like I'm going to believe in that pitch even more to get her to believe in it. And then I felt like I was unafraid to call 3 back-to-back changeups or 3 rise balls in a row and just get the pitcher to buy into my belief. And I think more than reading swings or reading batters, it's like when you two can be locked in on the same page and there's that trust with one another, then it almost doesn't matter what pitch you're calling, because there's this like innate just belief where they're going to buy in so hard to what you call. And it's electrifying, you know, it's like the battery's charged at that point.
No doubt. And it's like, would you agree that an executed pitch is always the right pitch?
Always. Always. Yeah.
Just execute a good old fashioned fastball down and away. What are you going to do with it? Maybe
Right.
get a single to right? Like,
Cool. Yeah.
cool. Good job. You got to do 4 more of those.
Yeah. No,
you know,
exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. So that's spot on. That's the same thing I try to do too. Like, because there's so much information, you know, you get fed, and with this day and age, you can find, if you're not only the information that you're getting, but you can go find it if you want and find out every single detail about the person you're playing against. But when it all comes down to it, it's really just you and your brother or sister on the mound out there trying to fight for the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You have to
execute.
You have to
execute. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay.
Do you ever throw from your knees, or do you only throw standing? Someone wants to know.
So I have some of my greatest throws I've ever made have been from my knees. I've always been a little bit hesitant. I did have, I think my first, it was spring training, so it doesn't count. I had my first career back pick to second from my knees. In the big leagues at least. So, and it was an accident. I knew I was going to back pick, and the throw kind of took me low, and I kind of blacked out and just threw the ball and ended up back picking the guy at second base. And I was like, that was like sneaky way better than what I usually do. I might try and start. So I actually, all spring, I was actually working on some of my knee throwing just because, you know, I've got a pretty good arm, but the thing is just being consistent with it, because one of the things that we always preach with throwing to second is footwork. You know, if my feet are underneath me, my feet are doing the right things, then usually the arm takes over.
Yeah.
And I think what I have to learn is, like, which I'm sure you guys have mastered, is, I guess, what would you call it, knee work instead of footwork? Like, it's not like you just like drop to your
body
knees and
position.
throw with all your arm, right?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. Like I always say, when you're throwing off your knees, it's like you're a midget who's been cut off at your knees. Like your knees act like your feet. You know, get your body in the right position to throw the ball. I feel like arms are really smart. Like, for example, if your footwork isn't right, like if you step to the left or you step open a little bit, your arm is going to make up for it. Our arms, we've thrown thousands and thousands of balls. Like our arm slot will make up for the body mistake. So it's just a matter of like getting your body in the right position to throw the ball, whether you're throwing off your knees or your feet, I think.
How would you, so when you go to your knees, is your triggers, like your thought process, is it mostly arm? Is it core? Is it knees? Like, what are you?
I would say it's actually my feet. So like as you turn, slamming my right heel down. Because if you let that back foot drift open, or if you let that back foot drift forward, not open, and if your right heel isn't down, then you have nothing to push off of.
Okay,
so it's
you're
pushing with my
putting
feet.
That back foot into the ground and like from your knees, pushing.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
I got you. Okay, because I've tried some of that stuff. So it is basically throwing standing up on your knees.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I was like 0.2 of a second faster on my knees than my feet. Like but I'm 6 foot tall, so I feel like that's a little bit of a difference too.
So that's astronomical.
0.2 of a second.
That's the difference of way safe and way out.
Yes.
Wow.
It was wild.
When did someone tell you about that, or did you kind of like figure that out on your own, like through like success and failure?
I was really lucky where I had, Kat Osterman's like one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and her catcher, Megan Willis, was older than me, but on my same travel ball team. So she was our catcher when I was our third baseman, and I could just watch and learn. And so it's so funny. I always credit her because I just watched her for so long and then feeling my body do it. But I would say we were probably the first two to really do it. And when we were doing it, other people weren't. And now at the World Series, like 8 teams go to the World Series and 8 catchers are throwing off their knees pretty much. Where 5 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Well, you trade them. You trade all of them now anyway, so they're probably
true. It is true. Yeah.
You're doing like, hey, let me tell you, do you want 2 seconds, 2 second off your time? Enough said.
Let's do this. Yeah. Do you speak Spanish to some of your pitchers? We got a couple questions.
It stinks because I took Spanish my entire life growing up. You know, every first grade through high school at our schools we had Spanish class, and it's really disappointing how little I know. But you know, playing with so many Latin players, and you know, over the course of your career, like when you start playing with them more, I feel like I start picking up how to understand. I can't really speak, you know, in detail. I can speak a little bit, but I can understand a lot more. Especially, I actually played one one winter for almost 2 months in the Dominican, playing winter ball.
Oh.
So that experience definitely helped a lot with that. And we just have so many, amazing Latin players that not only do you want to connect with them, like whether it's your pitchers or your teammates, to just be able to talk baseball, but like all these guys are like awesome, hilarious, like very cool personalities that I just want to like, that's part of one of the interests of just like trying to understand them, because they have something really, really smart or interesting to say, and they can't necessarily get their point across in English. So that's kind of up to us to kind of learn some of that. So it's definitely progressed. I really wish I could learn more, but I can speak enough to at least, I can go have a mound visit and talk to one of my pitchers and, tell them something in Spanish, at least just to get on the same page. But other than that, I do wish I understood more.
That's crazy. I don't know any Spanish. Like, hola, like, uno. Like, that's about my extent. Like, I would be
the other hard
very
part, so growing up in Southern California, it's a lot of Mexican heritage here. And so Mexican Spanish is a lot different than Dominican Spanish.
So
so
true.
Like, the Mexican Spanish speaks a lot slower and like enunciates more. Some of the Dominican and other like Latin American countries, they talk very fast and slang. So they're kind of talk like how we speak English. Like, we're not saying anything.
Like, can you slow it back? Can you rewind this for me?
Yeah, I need you to spell this out for me. Slow down.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
Have you been pretty healthy? Has your body stayed pretty healthy? We got some questions about knee pain and
I've been lucky. Yeah. I basically had a healthy career. I've had I had one pretty bad concussion, which actually made me pretty passionate about these new masks that we wear. Have you heard of the company Force 3?
No.
So, I don't know how concussions are in softball if, they come at a high level, like in baseball. I got a foul tip with a normal hockey mask right off the forehead.
Okay.
And so there was no give. So it basically just hits off the shell, and I had no symptoms, no fogginess, no nothing. I had the only thing that affected me, I had no depth perception. I literally went in the next day, and I had no idea where the ball was. That was the only sign.
Weird.
We had to do a bunch of testing to figure that out. So we basically, with Force 3, I helped them develop this, like an extra piece to the top of the mask. So you can see it like Dick's Sporting Goods and stuff, they have them. So it's a normal hockey mask with the cage has springs, so it springs in.
Oh, right.
And then it has an extra piece, almost like a two-piece mask would. So if you hit the top of it, it still springs in. So there's literally no surface area on the mask that a foul tip wouldn't hit and it would give in. They've got videos, I think on their website, of like crash test dummies getting hit by 100-mile-an-hour fastballs right in the face. With the normal mask, the head goes, whoa, like all the way back, brain rattling, like classic concussion. And with their mask, the head literally goes like, you see the mask suck in and the head doesn't even move. It's 100-mile-an-hour fastball and your head doesn't even flinch. It's incredible. That's wild. And I haven't even come close to a concussion since I've been wearing this mask for the last couple of years. You'll start seeing there's every year a few more big leaguers are wearing the hockey one, but there's a bunch of guys that are now getting sponsored by this company. Most of them wear the two-piece masks, like Tyler Flowers, Yasmani Grandal. Those guys are big reps for them, and they wear it. But concussions are scary. That's the one thing, because you feel like you can play through it, like
right.
Your arm's sore, you're like, whatever, like I'll go play through it. Like, oh, I got a little headache, I'll go play through it. But it's probably the dumbest thing you can do, because we're talking about your life.
Brain. Yeah.
Your brain. Exactly.
Right.
Do you guys have are there like concussion problems?
We're seeing it more and more. I wouldn't say it's as prominent as baseball, but we are seeing it more and more. And we're seeing crazy plays at the plate, which we just adopted last season, your guys' MLB rules for obstruction at the plate, which is a huge point of controversy in our sport because no one, especially umpires, don't understand it. So we're getting all these obstruction calls, and it stemmed from concussions at the plate, not from like foul tips or just balls to the head, but like actual collisions. So can you talk to me about this rule? Because I find it so frustrating that you cannot be in the runner's lane unless the ball's in your hand. And I feel like if the ball takes you up the line, how
you're
are
good.
You allowed to go to
you're
the
good.
ball?
And if the umpire, honestly, for us, if I was gonna kind of like walk and show it, you can't see my feet. I'll just tell you about it. Anyways.
Okay.
So how the way we used to teach it before the rule changed, I put my left heel on the front left edge of home plate.
Corner, yeah.
Like even with the parallel with the line.
Right.
And so like my knee can like give and I'm in a
Correct.
safe place.
Yeah.
Now if I'm in that spot, safe. Automatic safe because I'm blocking some sort of view. So I basically just keep the exact same footwork and exact same angles, just 1 foot in front of home plate. So I take that and I just take 1 step and I keep the same angles. So I just know that if someone's running from third base, whether they're tagging up from third on a straight line or they're rounding third, they always have a clear view of home. You know, you can even yell at the umpire like, "Hey, like, am I good?
Right.
Am I good?" Like, kind of like you ever see like in the NFL, like the wide receivers will get on the line of scrimmage and ask the umpire or ask the ref if they're good.
If they're good,
it's kind of like that. Like if you have time, like on a base hit, like get there. Am I good? It's just a quick little thing, yes or no. Now at least there's no obstruction. You at least put it in their mind that you're trying your best to not.
You're attempting here, yeah.
And I think on the human aspect of the umpire's brain is now like, okay, this person's at least trying to get out of the way. I'm probably not going to call obstruction because now when the throw takes you up the line, either A, the runner doesn't get out of your lane, come straight through you. So first of all, now you have a concussion that you're trying to avoid anyways. And second of all, if you catch the ball and you tag them out, you just don't want to you want to make sure that they can't call them safe, which they shouldn't. The only ones I've seen as they've kind of gotten used to the rule, any new rules might take a year or two. So now I would say it's just if you're blocking, if part of your body, like your legs or your knees are blocking any part of home plate before you get the ball, they have the right to call them safe. But if the ball takes you somewhere, I think you're good. You should be good. If they call that,
see, that's where like the rule confuses me. And I honestly don't feel like our umpiring or officiating is as good as Major League Baseball. It's just not. They're not getting paid as much. It's not their full-time gig. You know, no offense to an umpire. It's not what they do 365 or full time. So we're getting the call made, especially we implemented it 2 seasons ago. So 2 years ago, it was like, you know, like the hot thing, like they're going to call it no matter what, obstruction right away, because it's the new rule. And now it's mellowing out a little bit and people are starting to understand it. But when it first came out, it was like, what are we allowed to do? Because in my opinion, how is any pickle not considered obstruction then?
Yeah, because you're in the way. Yeah, it's
right.
I think they'll figure it out. It's basically it should just be specifically plays at the plate, a very clear, like not any sort of rundown pickle plays, just straight up. Is this guy trying to score at home, and I'm about to tag him out? The idea is let's avoid, you know, a collision. Both players are safe, and then ideally, like, was this person preventing the person from being able to score, which would be our job to at least give them plays so they can slide. And once they slide, it's fair game. And I think it just takes time. Like, Major League Baseball is trying to incorporate 1,000 new rules, and each year they're trying to add new ones. And anytime they do add a new one, it usually takes, you know, throughout spring training, I'm having constant dialogue with the umpires, you know, picking their brains because they're not only am I trying to pick their brain, they're trying to pick my brain and everyone's brain.
Right. Like how are we dealing with this together?
So I would just recommend that, just constant dialogue, like especially catchers. We should be doing that anyways. You know, we should be talking to the umpire throughout the day, throughout the game anyways, just getting on the same page, you know, having just a nice, respectful relationship. So if you have any sort of something to say about that play at the plate, like before the game, address it, talk to them respectfully about it. They'll appreciate that, you know, that you're approaching them. And then my guess is if you've already talked to them about it, they're probably not going to call you for a obstruction call. So, you know, at least you're winning in that way, I think, if you just get the umpire on your side.
Yeah, no, and I think that's something that a lot of girls are nervous to do. Girls aren't as talkative as boys, right? So developing the confidence in yourself to be able to have any sort of conversation or relationship, it's something I preach very heavily, but I think it's such an important part of our role as a catcher.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's they're back there trying to, you know, if you look good, like they're back there trying to make you look good and you're trying to make them look good. So might as well be, you know, you got about 2 or 3 hours to be best friends with somebody. Anybody can fake that. So just, you're back there regardless. Might as well make it enjoyable.
So true. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, I feel like we've been on here for quite some time chatting. I'm like,
I feel like we could probably talk for 5 more hours.
That's what I know. I'm like, we could just keep going and going. But one last thing. Do you guys have any idea when baseball is going to be back? We're getting questions about that.
We don't really know. We're just
preparing to get a call.
You know, we're hoping to play as many games as possible. You know, whether that's through the normal time or whether it's through October with regular season, then playing postseason later. There's all kinds of talks going on right now about how to do it. But honestly, right now it's just everyone just be safe, stay in.
Yeah.
Do the 6 foot thing. Do the social distancing. Just be smart. Let's just stay in. You know, we can do this for a couple more weeks and then we'll be back to normal. So I feel like, you know, that's the best thing we can do right now is just chill and, you know, we'll be back to real life in, you know, probably a couple months.
It's absolutely crazy. I mean, I'm obviously in my car, but I had to go to the doctor today, and even to get into the office, they're like, have you traveled out of the state of California in 2 weeks? They weren't going to let me in the office if I had. Took my temperature, like all sorts of things just to get in the door. I'm like, this is crazy. Like,
my goodness. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm trying to just stay in lockdown in here and not have to deal with any of that.
And I'm pregnant, right? So like delivering a baby in a few months. I'm like, oh God, this is terrible.
When's your due date?
I'm super early July, like July 4th-ish. So
okay. Hopefully this all blows over by
Oh yeah, that was my thought process too until the doctor told me today. Actually it's worse because you have more time to get sick. I'm like, oh, okay, my mindset was wrong then. I thought, oh, it'll blow over. But, you know, if you test positive or like if my husband is a police officer, test positive, then, which he's like out working every day, touching people, dealing with homeless people, you know, so it's just like, oh
goodness.
Yeah,
wear those masks, wear those gloves, just be safe.
I know. Well, it was so great to meet you, and I'm looking forward to watching you play whenever that is.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, and let's, I mean, I don't know if we talked to Easton or whatever, but I mean, I would be down to do this again, like I said.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. I think people really liked it.
Awesome. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye, Austin. Talk to you later.
Bye, guys.